In this lesson, I'm going to provide you with a quick summary of DevOps and cloud security, including some coverage of DevOps, continuous integration and continuous delivery, provisioning, configuration management, API integration, quality assurance testing, the shared security model, security assessments, data security, application and infrastructure security, and securing network connections. First, though, we need to talk about DevOps. Now, DevOps is a software development methodology that emphasizes collaboration and communication between the development and operations teams. The goal of DevOps is to automate the entire software delivery process from code development and testing all the way through to deployment and infrastructure management. By integrating development and operations teams and automating the software delivery process, an organization can improve the speed, quality, and reliability of their software. Next, we need to talk about CI/CD, which is known as continuous integration and continuous delivery. Now, the first part of this is continuous integration, and continuous integration is a software development practice where developers integrate their code changes into a shared repository frequently. This practice allows developers to detect errors or conflicts in the code changes much earlier in the development process. Now, the second part of this is continuous delivery, and continuous delivery is a software development practice where the code changes are automatically built, tested, and deployed into a production environment. The goal of using continuous integration and continuous delivery is to make software delivery fast, reliable, and automated. Next, let's talk about provisioning, including infrastructure as code and the use of templates. Now, provisioning is the process of setting up and configuring resources for an application or service. These resources can be provisioned automatically in the cloud by utilizing infrastructure as code tools, which allows the administrators to define infrastructure and configuration by using code. Now, this use of infrastructure as code can also be combined with the use of templates to easily provision resources, which in turn reduces the time and effort required for manual configuration. By utilizing templates, you're going to be able to automate the provisioning of resources such as virtual machines, storage, and network components inside your cloud infrastructures. After that, we covered things like configuration management, including the use of orchestration, automation, upgrades, and patching. Now, configuration management is the process of managing and automating changes to a system's configuration. Configuration management tools allow administrators to automate the provisioning and management of the infrastructure and applications, including the upgrading and patching of those things. Now, orchestration and automation can be used to provide a framework for managing and automating complex, multi-tiered applications. And these configuration management tools will also allow your administrators to manage and enforce compliance policies across their environment to ensure consistency and security. Next, we talked about the concepts surrounding API integration. Now, API integration is the process of integrating different software systems using APIs, which are known as application programming interfaces. Now, APIs or application programming interfaces enable different software systems to communicate and exchange data with each other. API integration is a really important concept inside of the world of DevOps and cloud operations because it enables the integration and coordination of various services and applications and enables your organization to build more scalable and flexible systems. Then, we talked about quality assurance testing, and this included the use of sandboxing, load testing, and regression testing. Now, quality assurance testing is the process of ensuring that software meets the desired quality standards. This quality assurance testing can be automated using various testing frameworks and tools. Sandbox environments are isolated testing environments that are used to safely test and develop new features or applications. Load testing is used to measure the performance of a system under normal and peak loads. And regression testing is used to verify that changes or updates to a system do not break your existing functionality. By using these different testing methodologies, your organization can ensure that its applications and services remain reliable, scalable, and secure. Then, we talked about the shared security model, and this is one that is used heavily inside cloud computing environments. Under the shared security model, your cloud provider is going to be responsible for the security of the infrastructure itself, while you, the customer, are going to be responsible for the security of your applications and the data that they use. This means that while the service provider is responsible for securing the physical infrastructure, network, and hypervisor, the customer, which is probably going to be you, is going to be responsible for securing your applications, data, and your users' access. Then, we talked about the different types of security assessments that are used in the cloud. This includes things like penetration testing, vulnerability scanning, and application scanning. Now, a security assessment is the process of evaluating the security of a system or environment, such as a cloud environment, to help identify potential security risks or vulnerabilities, and then evaluate the effectiveness of your existing security controls, as well as recommending improvements or additional security measures to mitigate any identified risks. One way we do this is by using penetration tests. Now, penetration testing is the process of attempting to exploit system vulnerabilities in order to determine whether unauthorized access or other malicious activity is possible on that system. Vulnerability scanning involves the use of automated tools to scan for and identify vulnerabilities in a system or application. And application scanning is a process that examines the source code of an application to identify any potential security vulnerabilities or flaws. By performing these three different types of security assessments in your cloud environment, you can identify and mitigate potential security risks and ensure that your applications and data remain secure. After that, we discussed data security in the cloud, which included a discussion of the CIA triad. Now remember, the CIA triad is the widely accepted security model that defines three key security concepts, which are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality refers to the protection of sensitive information from unauthorized access or disclosure. Confidentiality measures are going to be used to ensure that data can only be accessed by authorized users or systems. Integrity is going to refer to the protection and the accuracy and consistency of the data. Integrity measures are used to ensure that data is not being corrupted, modified, or deleted without proper authorization. And availability refers to the ability of users to access and use the data or systems when they need it. Availability measures are used to ensure that the systems and data are available to authorized users when they need them and that they're not disrupted by failures or attacks. After that, we talked about the application and infrastructure security, including things like auditing, access, authorization, and hardening. Application security is the process of protecting applications from unauthorized access, use, modification, or destruction. Application security involves the use of security controls like encryption, access control, input validation, and more to ensure that applications are protected from potential security threats such as SQL injections or cross-site scripting attacks. Infrastructure security, on the other hand, refers to the protection of the underlying systems, networks, and resources that support those applications. Infrastructure security involves the use of security controls like firewalls, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems, and security information and event management systems in order to protect the infrastructure from potential security threats like malware and denial of service attacks. We also discussed the 3 A's of security: authorization, authentication, and auditing. Authorization involves granting or denying permission to a user or system to access specific resources or to perform specific actions based on their authenticated identity. In other words, once the user is authenticated, authorization specifies what level of access they're allowed to have. Now, authentication, on the other hand, is the process of verifying a user's identity, and this is usually done by confirming a username and password or by using multi-factor authentication or biometrics or tokens to be able to authenticate that user. Authentication is used to ensure that only authorized users can access those specific resources that you've designated. Auditing involves tracking and logging events or actions that occur within a system. Auditing can be used to monitor and identify potential security issues, track system usage, or provide a record of activity for compliance and regulatory purposes. Auditing allows organizations to hold users accountable for their actions and help to detect any unauthorized access to the systems or the data they contain. Finally, we discussed the security of your network connections in the cloud, including things like VPNs, direct connections, network services, DNS, and firewalls. By using virtual private networks or direct connections, you can securely connect to the cloud resources from an external network. Network services, such as the domain name system and load balancers, can also be used to provide secure and reliable access to your cloud-based resources. Firewalls are used to control network traffic and prevent unauthorized access to cloud resources. Now, by understanding and implementing all these different network security measures, your organization can ensure their network connections are secure and they're performing really well against those potential security threats. So for the exam, it's important to remember all these different terms that we talked about inside this section on DevOps and cloud security. This includes coverage of DevOps, continuous integration and continuous delivery, provisioning, configuration management, API integration, quality assurance testing, the shared security model, security assessments, data security, application and infrastructure security, and securing network connections when operating in the cloud.